This is lesson 3, what is an audition and how to get one. I'm sure you've heard of auditions before because you are interested in acting and you obviously know that actors audition. You may not know what that consists of or how to find one, so that's what I'm going to explain here. You might have an idea, but I wanted to go through it so that you really got clear about it and have some certainty. This course doesn't teach you how to do them. I cover that more fully in my other courses. One is acting is not memorizing. That's like a how to prepare fully for an audition. And the other one is how to stand out and win your auditions. So that it goes right into the audition process. There's an upcoming course called How to Do a Kick-Ass Self-Taped Audition, which most auditions, almost all auditions, are self-taped, at least in the initial stages. So what is an audition? An audition is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your skill level and ability to connect with a character and understand the circumstances of a given scene. Usually you audition in scenes, and that allows whoever is wanting to cast an actor to see what you offer, what you bring to that character. That's what it's for, and there are many opportunities like this because films are being made all over the world every day, all the time, and they'll never stop. So you have to find auditions. They won't find you. How do you do that? At this point in your career, no one really knows you who's casting actors. So they have to know who you are. And you have to tell them who you are. That's just obvious business sense. You know, who you are and what you are selling or have to offer. The way you look, physically, your age, all of that's part of it. Yes, true. But also what your acting skills are, how you sound when you speak. And do you interpret the character? How do you interpret that character? So that's what you bring, and that's what they want to see. So the first way most people find out who you are is through your headshot. If you see a notice for casting, and I'll get into that a little more in this lesson, but if you do see a notice, they're going to ask for probably a headshot and a resume. And that headshot is their first introduction to who you are if they haven't met you before. That's what they're going to see first. So your headshot is really, really important, obviously. I'll get into that slightly here. There's a far more important and long dissertation about headshots in a book called Headshot Secrets Revealed by Bob Fraser, which I sell on this platform for $1. I would give it away to you, but the platform makes me personally handle everybody that wants one when it's free, and I don't have time for that, so I just sell it for $1. So you should get that book if you're serious about having a career, because that book puts you on the road to marketing yourself as an actor. That's what headshots are for. Headshots are not just, oh, wow, what a great photo of me. Don't I look great? Which is how you've selected photos probably all your life until now, if you've never had a headshot. And headshots aren't that. They're not about, oh, I look great. Partially, but not fully. Definitely not fully. So selecting a headshot based on how great you look is only a tiny part of it. And that book I just told you about, Headshot Secrets Revealed by Bob Fraser, that's sold on this platform for $1, it gets right into it, how it's really a marketing tool and how you must know what you're doing when you get your headshot taken, because that's the first impression everyone gets who is casting. They're going to see your headshot. And what does that tell them? And it tells them a lot. They look at a lot of headshots. Believe me, for years, thousands upon thousands. So they look at a headshot far differently than you might. And you've got to learn what that is so that you can communicate to them properly what you are selling to them or what you say you have to offer. And I know it's just a headshot. I mean, there's a lot more to acting than just how you look, right? True. But this is their initial contact, so you got to be smart about it. The other thing is your resume. I'll attach a resume to this, a sample of my old one to this lesson, because it shows you how to format it. It's not a CV or resume for some job you want to do at an office or something like that, or wherever. It doesn't look like that at all. It's very unique to the industry, and you should see how it's done. It has various columns and categories that you need to lay out in your resume. If you don't have anything to put in those categories, don't put anything there. Leave it blank. It's okay. Don't lie. Don't put something in there that you haven't done. People will find out about it, and it's not appreciated. So don't bother. It's okay to have nothing in a category. You're starting out, everybody started out somewhere. It's not a big deal. No one's going to look down on you. They just now understand more about you if you are very truthful on your resume, and that's important. There are many places to find auditions. There are Facebook actor groups in every city in the world, as far as I know. I've looked at that. They're there. So there are often audition notices posted for the city or area you're in on those Facebook pages. People do use them. Some are more used than others. Depends what city or you're in or nearby. But you should join them, be part of that, and find auditions. They'll be there, and the notices will be there, and you'll know whether or not there's a role that you could possibly get and do. This is true for theater as well as short films, web episodes, feature films, independent stuff, a lot of independent stuff. Most of the big studio things or high-end, high-budget movies and TV series don't post there. They will if they're having really a big problem finding a particular type of actor or character they need for their story, but usually no. Those are found on other places. Okay, so I have a list here. I'm going to read them off to you. There's Actors Access. There's Casting Workbook, which I think now is called The Workbook. There's Casting Network. There's Backstage. There's Showcast. And there are others as well, depending on where you live, what country you're in even. These are professional casting sites. Some of them have fees, some of them don't. Some of them have fees for certain things. There's usually some money to pay for these things. And that's okay, because this gives you access to what's being cast professionally now in the industry where you are. And even in other places, you can look at, what's happening in Los Angeles, what's happening in Toronto, or New York, or London. You can definitely look into these, even in Sydney or down in South Africa in Cape Town or Johannesburg. These websites post what's being cast in the moment right now. And this is a great resource for you, even though you may not get those auditions. It tells you what's happening, and you can see and know what kind of scenes they're handing out, what kind of roles they're looking for. It just gets you in the know and into what's going on. It's a good thing to do. What you do when you find one that I could play this. It's the right age category, right gender, you feel you have you could do a role like that, or you'd like to. Then most of the time you submit your headshot and resume and request an audition. If that request is granted, they will send you what is called the sides. The sides are really just the scenes they want you to audition with. They're called sides. It's so funny. They're called sides because scripts are always printed on one side only. They're not printed on both sides of paper. They're also handed out when you're on set. They usually have a small form, very small print of your scenes. As an actor, you get handed those. Those are your sides for the day, so to speak. So this word sides has been passed around, and it's lingo in the community, in the filmmaking, acting community. So you'll get sides if they want you to audition. That's great. So that's what you want. Your CV or your resume, it should have what I said, different categories like theater, film and TV, or film as one, TV as another. It should have your training on there, any special skills that you might have. Those are the main categories. Your height, people don't want weight anymore. I'm not sure. Height and weight I think is really important because as a director that tells me a lot about your physical stature. A headshot doesn't. And that may be important. It may not be, but it may be. It could be sometimes for a character. So you submit that, and then you've got 3 columns in each category. So if it's a film category, you've got the name of the movie in the left-hand side column. In the center column, you have the character you played and what size the role was. That varies in different ways. It depends where you are. Like in Canada, it's an actor role is under 6 lines, a principal role is above 6 lines, then you have supporting roles and so on. In America, it's different. It's featured for something small, under 6 lines, and then bigger than that, it's called supporting, and there are other categories as well. Anyway, you put that in there in the center column, and then in the right column, you put what the production company was, or distributor even, Warner Brothers, and then who directed it, Zack Snyder or something like that, whoever it was. So yeah, that's what your resume should be like. So you submit your headshot and your resume and you request an audition. So you submitted your headshot and your resume, you've requested an audition, and they have granted you it. They've sent you the sides, now you do your audition. I'm not going to get into all the steps you need to take and how to set that up and so on. That's in the courses that I have on this platform. The acting is not memorizing and how to stand out and win your auditions. That's covered very fully in those paid for courses, and you can take them anytime and at on your own schedule. Very informative and definitely the right things to do. So you do that. But one thing that I have to say is you have to pay attention to the instructions of the people requesting the audition. They'll tell you certain things about the character or whatever, but then there's a lot to do with how they want it framed or whether they want a slate or not. So the word slate is actually a rock, right, type of rock that was used many years ago for blackboards in classrooms, and also for the original clapboards that were used at the head of the take of a shot, right, of a take. It was slate, so that this action was called a slate at the beginning, and it gave information about what was being filmed on that particular take. So this somehow got into acting, and when you do auditions, you do a slate at the beginning of your audition. Usually you tape it separately, and that is then edited with your audition in front of it. It's at the beginning, and it gives information about what the audition that's following is. So it's usually your name, sometimes your height, sometimes you have to show your hands, if it's especially a commercial. Not all commercials, some. Other things they may want, like who your agent is or where you live, even, that kind of thing. That, whatever their instructions are, you put in that slate. And it's you talking to the camera. So that's it on that. I highly recommend you take those other courses to get to know what exactly to do in your audition. So now you're auditioning away. Maybe you get some roles, right? Or not. In the future, at some point, you're going to want an agent. You can get a lot of roles without an agent, definitely. Independent films, short films, student films. You can do that. You don't always have to have an agent. And it's good to build up your resume before approaching an agent. Otherwise, if you're brand new and you've never done anything, they're not going to take you. Definitely not. So you want to get out there, hit the ground, go and get those roles, and start building your career, your resume. And so in the next lesson, I'll talk about how to get an agent.